that school is out for the next 6 weeks, school communications might be the last thing on your mind right now, but it's all our guest Sharlene Barnes could think about as she worked to solve the problem of missed notes and permission slips from schools. Although Sharlene was a bit clueless about apps, she had an idea and she was inspired to make it into reality. And now, School Loop app, a school communications tool, is being used by 700 schools throughout Australia and New Zealand and helping over 180,000 parents stay connected to their schools and hosting over 12,000 advertisers on the platform. I would love to welcome you here to Mums at the Table.
Thank you.
How are you feeling today?
Lovely, yeah. Really good.
Ready for Christmas?
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait. Yeah. Can't wait to see the family.
Yeah, it's always a highlight. You know, I'm really inspired by your story for a variety of reasons. You know, typically we'll think of tech startups as, you know, kids who've dropped out of uni and they've gone in the garage and they've started something up, but we see that your story comes from an entirely different perspective.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. It was something that to me was just a process. I had difficulty with my own children in receiving newsletters and notes and communication from school. And basically I found a way to figure it out, to find a way to a solution to the problem.
So you mean to say we're not going to have any more of those mushy notes with squashed up bananas and orange juice boxes leaked all over them?
Well, that was one of the reasons why I decided to find a solution to that problem.
Cool. Yeah. It is a problem because you're like giving the responsibility to these kindies or these, you know, year threes to bring home these important messages that you don't get till the 11th hour.
I know.
So it's so good that you've come up with it. What gave you the confidence to sort of go out there and do that? Because I think there's lots of app ideas, but I'm like, there's no way I could go and do that.
Where do you start?
Look, I think it's a personal journey for me, and it was a journey that it's just a step by step. It's something that I could see that would really solve a problem, and I think that just going out there and trying to find a good people behind you, you know, like tech people and developers and people who really wanted to support you. You know, I don't come from a tech background either. But I found a couple of people who really could believe and see what I was doing. So I really tried to find those people and take their advice.
What were some of the early days? Because you said it was a process to get there. So we all know that we don't just wake up one morning and say, I'm going to have an app. You know, can you take us through some of your thought process in those early days of starting it?
Absolutely. So I think the first thing is like every other mum in the country, is your 6-year-old is expected to communicate from school what's happening at school, you know, or to hand you a notice or a newsletter or a permission form. That frustrated me, you know, having a couple of children, working like most mums, you know, 30 to 40 hours a week, and it really frustrated me. There had to be a better way. So there was that. I then went through the Christchurch earthquakes and trying to, in that, saw a real need for instant communication. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that didn't really rely on cell phone numbers or anything like that.
For the school to be able to quickly get information
just send out a quick message. School's still standing. We're all okay. We're standing in the in the form room.
Yeah, often when we hear these situations on the news, we don't think necessarily about what's happening with the parents and how they're, you know, might be searching for their kids.
And you want that information immediately.
So how is your app different to just people communicating through email?
Well, basically it's a smartphone app. Okay, so you're not looking at emails, you're not relying on your computer. Okay, so we've all got our smartphones in our pockets for one. Basically, it doesn't rely on phone numbers, so it picks on the IP address of your device. So you've got your smartphone in your pocket, you've got the school app on your smartphone, and you're going to get instant messages, you know, from the school regarding, you know, what's happening at school.
So these are like newsletter notices. This is not like Johnny's school report or
No.
information from the teacher. It's actually like whole school information.
Correct, yes. So it's communication coming from the school as a whole through to the school community as a whole. Okay, so it's not teacher-parent communication.
So they would still use email for those sorts of things.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
That's usually personal,
Yeah.
information between the teacher and the parent. So we don't provide information like that. We just simply are a portal from the school administration, through to the school community, letting them know of general things like newsletters and notices and messages that are really important to
I saw also, I know that you had the situation in Christchurch with the earthquake, but
Yes.
also that you suffered some illness, and after that you felt like, if I'm going to do something, and if I'm
Yes.
passionate about this idea, I need to go
right.
forward with it.
Yeah.
And though some people might say it sounds cliche, you actually experienced it
I did.
in that moment.
Yes, I had melanoma, and which was really scary. I'd never been sick before in my life.
Wow.
And all of a sudden I had a mole on my arm that looked a bit suspicious and was diagnosed as melanoma, and it really made it it was like an epiphany, do it now or never do it.
Yeah.
And so I did. I simply went out with my idea. I found people who believed in me. When I say people who believed in me, it was more about tech people, people who could provide the service that I wanted. So I just went forward.
Did you have the idea from the beginning that you wanted to be an entrepreneur and have a big business, or did it sort of evolve along the way?
I think it evolved along the way. Yeah, I think it did. I mean, it's been such a really interesting journey, and I think it is one of those things where you think to yourself, actually, I might need an employee, and then you think, actually, I might need a couple.
Wow.
Speaking of which, we were talking earlier about your workplace. Let us into your offices, because you have some really amazing
Thank you.
ways that you handle your employees.
Yes. So one of the things that I really did think about was, if I was to become an employer, I really wanted it to be a place where I could really help parents. Because I think parents don't, well, certainly in the last 5 years things have changed, I suppose, but parents really don't get given the opportunity like people, who aren't juggling children and families and that kind of thing. So in our office, we have a kids' room.
Wow.
So if a child was sick and mums and dad still need to come to work.
I think it's great because it's so. I think it makes it easier for mums to actually, if there's someone out there who's willing to sort of work with me, I'm so loyal, I'm so in, and it's a great fit.
Yeah,
It'd be great for other employers to hear what you're doing.
And the glide time. Love the glide time.
The glide time's brilliant. It means that, if you can't get a doctor's appointment after work and it has to be at lunchtime, or indeed you have to take your child to the doctors, it means that you can work around it. You can say, OK, look, I need to take an extra hour off today, but on Friday I can do an extra hour.
We need more mums in business.
Well, that's where it comes from, my own experience as being a single mum.
We are so inspired by your story, and the fact that you took an idea and you actually took it to reality, because so many of us have ideas. We sit around at a Christmas lunch and say, hey, we should make an app, and then the conversation just stops. So we want to say, continue what you're doing, and that we're very inspired by the work that you're doing.
Thank you.